Next is laceration. Laceration means to tear. Take a piece of paper and then tear it. What do you get? You get irregular margin. Similarly here as well, when the skin gets torn, you get irregular margin. And there's the epidermis. Okay. Now the morphology of the laceration is characterized by 4 things. Number 1, the margin is irregular. Number 2, the edges, they show bruise because it is as a result of blunt force injury after all. The edge shows bruise. Then there are also on top tissue breaches. And finally, since it is as a result of blunt force, the blood vessel at the bottom gets crushed, the hair follicles get crushed, and the nerve also gets crushed. So there is crushing of blood vessel, nerve, and hair. Since the blood vessel is crushed, there is less space for blood to leak out, so there is less bleeding. Now this is what laceration looks like from side. How about from top? From top, this is the irregular margin of the laceration, and at one end, shallow tailing takes place. Shallow tailing, and around is obviously the bruising at the edge. The base is crushed. It is crushed. This is referred to as shallow tailing because it looks like the tail of shallow board. Okay. See, one concept that you need to know. Here's a blood vessel with 2 branches. This branch has been crushed and this branch has been cut. At the point where it has been crushed, there is less space for blood to leak out. So there is less bleeding. At the point where it has been cut, there is more space for blood to leak out. So there is more bleeding. That is why in laceration there is less bleeding and in incision there is more bleeding. Next we have the various types of laceration. We have split laceration, stretch laceration, and avulsion laceration. Under split laceration, this is what takes place. So we have a hard object that is going to impart a blunt force, and then you have a hard structure of your own body. In between the two is a soft tissue, or just above the hard structure is a soft tissue. For example, the hard structure can be your skull and the soft tissue can be the scalp overlying the skull. So this soft tissue is sandwiched and crushed in between the 2 hard structures. It is sandwiched and crushed in between the 2 hard structures. As a result, splitting takes place. And this is referred to as a split laceration. So what you see here is a split laceration. Now, if you look at the margin of this laceration, it seems to be regular, but then lacerations are not supposed to have regular margin. That means, is it an incision? No, it's not an incision, because the injury is as a result of a blunt force, like a rod behind the head, a blow behind the head with a rod. It is as a result of a blunt force that you get this splitting. So it is a laceration, but since to naked eye it looks like an incision due to regular margin, it is also referred to as incised looking laceration. A very, very important terminology you need to know in clarity. Incised looking laceration. What is incised looking laceration? See, this in fact is a laceration because this splitting of the scalp has taken place as a result of blunt force injury. But since the margin looks to be regular, so the laceration looks like an incision. So we call it incised looking laceration. Now the question is the margin really regular? And the answer is no. It is just to the naked eye that the margin appears to be regular. But if you go ahead and use a hand lens to truly appreciate the morphology of the injury, you can appreciate the irregular margin. Not only that, you can also appreciate the crust base Not only that, you can also appreciate the tissue breaches. So let me show you here in the diagram. I mean the real picture. So the margin seems to be regular, but if I use a hand lens, I can appreciate the irregularity in the margin. Similarly, the base is crust, and you can also appreciate the tissue breaches over the injury, all the tissue breaches, That's your split laceration. Next is stretch laceration. Stretch laceration, I'm going to draw a skin, and there's the epidermis of the skin. And here's the blunt force with the help of a blunt object. Stretch laceration is characterized by, I repeat, it is characterized by pressure with pull. It is characterized by pressure with pull. So here the skin goes under pressure and gets pulled as well. As a result, a part of the skin gets pulled out. It gets pulled out like this, but then not completely detached. See, the part of the skin that has been pulled out is still attached to the base with the help of a pedicle. So the skin is not completely detached, and this is referred to as flapping of skin. The blood vessel or the vasculature of the skin is preserved. So this flap can be resutured back to its original position without any problem. And this is seen in open fractures. That's stretch laceration. Next, avulsion laceration. Now, avulsion laceration is where you actually get detachment from attachment. That is, the tissue, the organ is completely detached from its site of origin. For example, this is a kidney. Here's the ureter of the pelvis and then the ureter of the kidney. Then the artery supplying the kidney and the vein draining the kidney. If this kidney is completely pulled off at the level of hilum, this is referred to as avulsion laceration. So this is kidney that has been avulsed. Another most classical example is that of a road traffic accident involving the wheel of a car and your upper leg or the thigh. So I'm going to draw the transverse section of a thigh. Here's the femur. Surrounding the femur are the muscles of the thigh, and then surrounding that is the skin. Now let's say this skin gets under the wheel of a car, under the tire of a car. As the tire spins around, it pulls the skin. It pulls the skin and completely rips it apart. It detaches the skin as well. This is also avulsion. What type of avulsion is this? This is referred to as flaying of skin. So the difference in flapping of skin and the flaying of skin is that flapping of skin is stretch laceration, where the skin is not completely detached from site of attachment. It is still attached via pedicel. It still has its vasculature and can be reattached back. But in flaying of skin, the skin is completely ripped off from its site of attachment. This cannot be resutured back. Okay, then other examples are amputation, like decapitation. Head is removed at the level of neck. And with that, we are done with laceration as well. Okay, let's revise laceration. Laceration refers to tear. When there is tearing of the skin, there is irregular margin. So there is irregular margin. Laceration is characterized by 4 features. Number 1, the margin is irregular. Number 2, the edges are bruised. Number 3, there are connecting breaches or tissue breaches. And number 4, the base is completely crushed. Since the base has crushed blood vessel, there is less blood that leaks out and less bleeding. This is from the side. From above, there is shallow tailing that can be appreciated. Then there are three types of laceration. First is split laceration. Split laceration is also referred to as incised looking laceration. In split laceration, a soft tissue is crushed between two hard objects, out of which one is the striking object and the other is the underlying body structure like the skull itself. Here the splitting of the tissue takes place where the margin seems to be regular, so referred to as incised looking laceration. But it is regular just to naked eye. If you look at hand lens, in reality the margin is irregular, there is crust base and there are tissue breaches which characterizes a laceration. In stretch laceration there is pressure with pull resulting in flapping of the skin seen in open fracture. In avulsion laceration there is detachment from attachment. The tissue, the organ is completely detached from its point of attachment. You can appreciate flaying of skin.